Introducing Supercross and Motocross sensation Jeff Matiasevich in his special Moto Video home video debut presentation of the Matazattack video I'm No Chicken. The following home video program is made possible in part by video support from Fox, Postmodern Raceway, makers of high-quality motocross riding apparel for the active sport motocrosser. By Boyson Engineering, manufacturers of the revolutionary Boyson Rad Valve, advanced reed cage technology designed to increase your bike's overall performance. By Dunlop Tires. When it comes to riding motocross, choose a tire that's a proven winner. Dunlop, stick with us. And by Cycle News, America's weekly source for motocross news that's hot off the track and delivered right to your home 52 weeks a year.
This is the Matazattack video.
And Jeff is definitely no chicken.
This is the Matazattack video I'm No Chicken. And this is Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich, premier 125cc motocross racer who's now moved to a 250 motocross machine with a true talent of a pro. In this video, Jeff's going to let you in on a few special secrets about supercross racing, as well as take you on a personal trip to Mammoth Lakes, California for the annual racing classic, the Mammoth Mountain Motocross. Hello everyone, I'm Larry Huffman, and along with Larry Naston and Mammoth, we're going to take you on the ride of your life with Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich. So hold on tight, because you're going to learn tips on motocross like how to practice and ride starts, turns, whoops, and jumps. For you supercross fans, we're not only going to take you to the races, but Jeff's going to show you how to use your practice area and turn it into a supercross track. So sit back and relax. For the next 60 minutes, let the chicken do the work. Now watch closely, because the Matazattack is coming into your living room right now in the form of a chicken. Because riding like a chicken can help you win races like Jeff Matiasevich.
Motocross fans, welcome to Mammoth Mountain Motocross in Mammoth Lakes, California, home of the very independent headquarters for one of America's premier motocross events, the Mammoth Mountain Motocross. You'll see top factory stars and top amateurs battle on what people say is the toughest track in the country. The Mammoth Motocross will get 1,400 riders a year, and you're going to see some of the top pro action today. I'm Larry Naston for the Mammoth Mountain segment of the Matazattack video. You're going to see some incredible footage of America's premier motocross rider, Jeff Matiasevich. And after we show you the great footage from Mammoth Mountain, California, you'll find out why Jeff's no chicken. Going to the second 250 qualifier right now after Johnny O'Mara had won the first qualifier. Team Kawasaki's Ryan Hughes, number 71 on the JT back Kawasaki, is out in front. Running in spot number 2 on the on-the-line Honda is Ty Davis, and in the third spot, Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich on the Dunlop back Kawasaki. Matiasevich looking for a way around. Now they are just trying to get into the main event. The money is all paid in the main, nothing in the qualifiers. The only thing they're going to get here is a starting position on the all-important Mammoth start pad. But your leader is number 71, Ryan Hughes, the rookie from Team Green Kawasaki. In spot number 2, it is Ty Davis on the on-the-line factory Honda. Behind him, of course, is Jeff Matiasevich on the Fox back Kawasaki. Matiasevich trying to work his way around on a very tough part of the track. It's the only spot in Mammoth that's one line. Now they come away over the drop-away jumps. You just saw Hughes go, where Matiasevich has now moved into spot number 2, and Ty Davis now sitting in the third spot. Chicken Matiasevich does not want to let a rookie youngster beat him in this moto. This is just the qualifier, but still there's a lot of ego and a lot of pride at stake. Here you see Ryan Hughes on the outside of the mechanics turn, and Jeff Matiasevich will be in sight right now, number 92, on the Team Green Kawasaki. Matiasevich going into the tree turn, into the mechanics corner right now, chasing a very hard-riding Ryan Hughes. As they come back down where they cross the start straightaway, you'll see Matiasevich start to shift up and try to catch him. And here they are coming down the downhill. Matiasevich still stalking Ryan Hughes. Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich, one of America's premier motocross riders, led the entire Supercross season for 12 weeks. And Jeff's been one of the toughest competitors of the year. Chicken's got a riding style all his own. Most people say he's a Supercross specialist, but here at Mammoth Mountain, he's proving that he can ride outdoors as well. And he is now stalking Ryan Hughes, number 71, on the Kawasaki. Hughes from Escondido, California. Matiasevich from La Habra Heights. Matiasevich on the Foxback Kawasaki. Hughes on the Team Green Kawasaki. Kawasaki's running 1 and 2 in qualifier number 2. Now remember, Johnny O'Mara has already won a qualifier, so Kawasaki's sitting pretty good right now here at Mammoth Mountain. Here is Hughes out in front of Matiasevich, but as you see, the Chicken has pulled up within 2 bike lengths of Ryan Hughes as they go to the Mammoth Mountain Freeway, the fastest part of the racetrack. 65 miles an hour in the air. And you know why they can stay on the ground? Because they're using Dunlop K695 tires, and you too should use Dunlop, as more motocross championships have been won with Dunlop than any other tire in the sport. Here you see him coming down the Mammoth downhill. It is Ryan Hughes still out in front. Matiasevich running at spot number 2. Here comes the Chicken up on the horseshoe, and Chicken went to it 1 bike length of him right now. They're in the John Miller tree turn, and he makes the pass. Jeff Matiasevich, now your leader. Hughes is not giving up. He's not letting the hero lead the way without any undue pressure. Here comes Hughes right now on the outside, getting a little sideways. So Matiasevich, who got a 5th place start, then worked up into the 3rd spot, and now is your leader, is still ahead. There's 5 laps to go. Now let's go down to Larry Huffman and get up close and personal with the Chicken.
And here we are at Kawasaki's private test track, located alongside an interstate just outside Corona, California. The area surrounding us is comprised of agricultural and industrial complexes. It's not pretty, but it does the job. Jeff, let's start by asking, how did you get the nickname Chicken?
When I was real little, about 4 or 5, my brother had a little chicken coop in the backyard, and on our block there was only 3 houses that were built, and we didn't have fences yet. And my next door neighbor, who was older, about 22, him and like 5 of his friends were out in the front yard drinking beer, and they could see the chicken coop, and I went in there and just chased the chicken around until it died, and they started calling me Chicken Man.
It stuck.
It stuck.
Let's talk about safety and safety gear. And your safety gear starts with a full face helmet. In years past, we saw a lot of riders not wanting to use these. They wanted to go with the open face, but I don't see anybody with open faces now.
No, there's not one professional racer right now that I can think of that wears an open face anymore. Everyone's made the change who wore the open face to the full face, and I think it's for the better. You're protecting your whole face and your head. The chest protector is real important. I've worn one since I started riding, and a lot of riders seem to say that it's uncomfortable for them, but I find that hard to believe.
The boots?
The boots, fox riding boots. Just protective, your feet are dragging a lot. If you had tennis shoes on, you'd probably rip your toes off or something.
But the most important thing, the most important single safety item, if you had to pick one thing, what would you say?
I'd say definitely the helmet. I see people out riding around with no helmet, and it just makes me cringe, After everyone's suing everyone right now, and people go out, drink beer, then buzz off with no helmet, crash, and blame the person who owns the land, and it's really ridiculous, You're out there with no helmet, what do you expect?
Returning back to race action, we still find Jeff Chicken Matiasevich out in front on his Foxback Kawasaki, with Ryan Hughes running in spot number 2. Matiasevich got the lead 3 laps ago and has held off the younger Kawasaki rider in every attempt to pass. Matiasevich looking at what has been one of his hardest tough-earned wins here at Mammoth. He has had a tough time with Ryan Hughes, but right now is out in front with a 3 bike length lead and very comfortable at this point. Matiasevich on the Foxback Kawasaki being chased by the younger Ryan Hughes from Escondido, California. The white flag is coming out here at Mammoth Mountain, signifying 1 lap to go. And here we have another view of Matiasevich as he is still out in front on the Kawasaki, number 92. Hughes is still in spot number 2. Hughes has not given up. We have a down rider. Both riders get through cleanly, but Jeff Matiasevich is still your leader. As they get set to go to the Mammoth Mountain Freeway, we should see Jeff Matiasevich. Wait a minute, Ryan Hughes has got the lead, and Matiasevich looks very upset. Something must have happened to Matiasevich on the Mammoth Mountain Freeway. Well, we're going to try to go down to the pits to find out exactly what happened to Jeff Chicken Matiasevich's bike. Jeff was out in front, had a 3 bike length lead. All of a sudden, coming over the finish line tabletop, it was Ryan Hughes out in front. So we'll go down there and see exactly what Jeff has to say. Walking down to the pits, you find 2 things out about Jeff Matiasevich. Number 1, he's committed. Number 2, everybody in the place is his fan. I was then able to locate Jeff in a little more serene attitude after I gave him time to collect his thoughts after a very disheartening race. And these were his comments on his qualifying moto.
I got off to a pretty good start, I think a third-place start, and I started off a little slow. The qualifier is like 25 minutes long, so you have a little while to get going and make up time if you started slow, which I did. So I think I came down the hill in third, and I worked on Ty Davis and finally got by him. And then Hughes had a 5-second lead, and I just kept closing the gap every lap until I finally got him. And I passed him, and on the last lap, I came down the last straightaway with about a 4-bike length, and went in the turn where the finish line is, and my bike broke, and Ryan got back by me, and I finished second. But you don't carry your points in the qualifier into the main, so the main is just like I won, so I'm not really worried about it. I got my bike fixed.
We're going to hear more from Jeff here at the Mammoth Mountain Motocross and more from Johnny O'Mara in the pits on the Boysen Rat Valve a little bit later. But right now, we'd like to take you back to Corona and the Kawasaki test track and find out from Jeff exactly what he does to train and practice his motocross skills. Now let's join Larry Huffman.
Welcome back to the Kawasaki test track. I'm Larry Huffman. In the next few minutes, we're going to provide you with a few supercross and motocross riding techniques as prescribed by the Chicken himself. We're going to take you not only on a personal tour of this Kawasaki Supercross test track, but we're going to take you to Jeff's secret practice area in a rock quarry just across the highway from this track. But first, let's take a look at some starting techniques. Jerry, the start is just about as important as the finish. What do you look for in a start?
For Jeff to come out as straight as possible, and 2, to come out as hard as possible, and make sure that the timing is always there for the start that we're always looking for. And basically, we don't want him to come out crooked at all.
Now, what happens when he comes out crooked, when we see that in a race?
Well, we're just scrubbing off speed, and we're not going forward. Actually we are, but we're really not. We're kind of hesitating on where we want to go, and that's what we don't want.
Okay, let's talk to Jeff. Jeff, you talked about 2 different types of tracks. This is a typical California track. It's hard-packed. It's very slippery. How do you start on a track like this?
You want to be positioning on the seats, real important, with your weight further back over the rear wheel, because it is slippery and the back wheel is going to be spinning a lot. So you want to transfer your weight onto the back wheel to try and let it bite down on the dirt. And then also releasing the clutch is very important. You don't want to just pop the clutch and let it go on the start. You want to sort of slip it. So you're letting it out really slow and easy and applying the throttle of the gas.
You're moving right there on the line.
Yeah, and also hold the clutch out so it's barely creeping on the start. And so that way when you go to let it go, it's sort of already disengaging and it's there and it's not going to cause the tire to break loose.
Show us how to start in this track, all right?
Sure, Larry.
Okay, your reaction to that, Jerry?
That was very good. It's like we've always talked about, starting out straight, coming out hard, and that means a whole lot when you're starting off to a good race.
Yeah, there wasn't any wobbling or anything going sideways. Jeff, how did you like that?
It went real good. You can see the traction right here where I took off is as straight as an arrow, and every little thing helps. If you go a little bit sideways, you may not get the whole shot. You got to work on coming out really strong and straight. And once you get the start down, that's 90% of the race. They got to pass you. You don't have to pass them. When I come out and practice starts, I usually do about 10 or 15 of them. It's really good to get used to all the different kind of terrain. So if you're riding somewhere where it's hard, practice them there. If you're riding somewhere where it's loamy, practice them there. So when you get to the track and you can look at the dirt on the start and you already know, you've practiced that kind of dirt. You already know pretty much in your mind what you got to do, and it makes things that much more easier for you.
After the long straightaway, a sharp left-hand hairpin turn. Jerry, what does the mechanic look for in a turn like this?
Well, basically, that he stays upright through the first turn with all the rest of the riders and hope that he makes it through the first turn.
Jeff, inside and outside of the turn. Let's talk about that a little bit.
The outside seems to be a little better because we're setting up for a set of whoop-de-doos right after it, and it's the main groove's right there. The inside looks a little bit shorter, but it's putting you out into some whoop-de-doos that are really faced, and there's not as good lines. So I'll take both and show you what it looks like.
What about the body position of the bike? Where are you on this, and where's the weight?
On this corner, you'll be standing up to about quarter way through the turn, sitting down and applying a lot of pressure on the outside peg. That'll keep the traction down, both tires, and then you'll be accelerating out of the turn, keeping your body position about middle of the seat.
To get maximum traction.
To get maximum traction because it's slippery out here. Okay, the second thing I'd like to show is turns, bold turns. There's a lot of people come up to me at the races and they ask me, I don't have a supercross track in my backyard. Where do you practice, bold turns? And just right out here at the quarry pit, that's where we're at. We just got a tractor taking away part of the hill here, and I'm just going to go up and get a berm going in the hill. What do you think, Jay?
I think basically what we should do first is clear out some of the rocks that are over here. Some of these rocks are pretty big, so we'll go ahead and clear some of those.
Well, why don't you clear them out and I'll do the riding? That's what you bring guys like this for. Right here, I'm entering the turn. I'm standing up. I throw my weight forward, allowing the rear end to become light, and just whipping over the motorcycle and exiting the turn. I choose Dunlop tires throughout the year because we come across a lot of different terrain, and Dunlop always seems to have the best tire for whatever terrain we come across. Another thing I like to practice while I'm out goofing off or practicing is just coming down a flat straight and sliding the back end around as you're coming down. During the race, there's a lot of times where you need to slide the bike before you even get to the corner to set up a little better for the corner, maybe to pass someone, or just to get in better position for the turn. One thing I think is important to practice is a controlled slide, and it's just done by locking up the rear brake and applying pressure to the left side of the peg if you want to skid to the right, and apply pressure to the right side of the peg if you want to skid left. I think it's an overlooked thing that a lot of people don't know about.
Welcome back to Mammoth Mountain, as 6,000 motocross fans await the start of the final 250 Pro race. I'm Larry Naston, and we located Jeff Matiasevich in the pits. I found him getting ready for the race himself, and then I talked with Johnny O'Mara and the good folks at Wide Open Racing, and here's what I found out.
Up here, I feel fine. I think, I'm the one in the driver's seat. Everyone's kind of gunning for me. It's a little bit of pressure, but, I like that. I've been around long enough to know how to handle the pressure, and I think it, works on the other guys more than me. My relationship with Chicken is, it's really came pretty close this year as far as being good friends and my teammate also. So, we're teammates plus really good friends, and we just put it all in a big package. And I think Jeff's such a quick learner, and he has so much potential that he just puts it all together, and he uses my, riding ability, Wardy's ability, and I think that's a great package.
Back in the Kawasaki pits, the Chicken, in full Fox race gear, finds a strange visit from what you may think is an unexpected guest mechanic, Denny Stevenson. He's done a little bit of 125 racing himself. In fact, he's the 125 East Coast Supercross champ. We found out that Jeff had to put on a few numbers on his number plate, and Denny was the only one ready for the job. No, really, Denny is one of Jeff's good friends, and this is what he had to say about the nickname, the Chicken, on the Chicken.
Yeah, most definitely. Chicken's a perfect name for Jeff, because he just walks around like a chicken, basically. He kind of looks like a chicken, and in my mind, he is a chicken.
Well, there seems to be some difference in opinion when it comes to Jeff's race name. But I'll assure you, there's little difference in opinion when it comes to Jeff's riding skills. Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich can ride a motorcycle with the daring and the skill of any young motocrosser today. Now let's join Larry Huffman again on the Kawasaki test track in Corona and learn more about Jeff's style of riding.
Coming out of the left-hand turn into the part of the track that causes the most trouble for the suspension, or works the suspension the best, that's the whoop-to-do section. Jerry, first, mechanic's viewpoint. What do you watch when Jeff's coming through the whoops?
I'm watching to see if the bike's going to go through the thing straight, and usually if it doesn't, there's a problem with the suspension on the thing, and Chicken basically can tell me what we need to do to the thing to get it corrected.
Jeff, you say the whoops are the most fun for you. Why?
Because you have to be real aggressive in whoops. The slower you go, the rougher it is, basically. The faster you go, the more speed you carry across them, and actually smoothens it out.
Okay, we notice there are two grooves in this set of whoops. Is that the fastest way through?
Yeah, the grooves are going to be the fastest way because the bumps are cut down, they're smaller. But then also, it's always a good thing to practice is the rough section, which I'll show you going through those, where you just got to get back over the back wheel and extend your body, your arms out, and just hammer and try and stay on top.
Well, you hear that there's a rhythm. You try to keep with a rhythm. Can you explain that?
On certain whoop-de-doos, you can get a rhythm. On these, you just hammer through. There's not a rhythm. Just
go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, we're standing on top of a tabletop jump, unique to Supercross. How do you ride a jump like this or go over a jump like this after coming off such a severe set of whoops?
You want to come into the tabletop as straight as possible. You come into cricket, it can shoot you off the track, crash, cause problems for you. You come over this tabletop straight, keep the front end down for the landing, and you want to try and clear it. If you clip your back wheel on it, you may the whoops start right after the tabletop. It may send you over the bars. So you just want to try and land on the downside of the tabletop straight, and just pretty much the same thing. Just get ready, get back on the bike, and hang on.
Do you try to catch your breath when you're in the air going over the tabletop setup for the next set of whoops?
Not really. The breathing's pretty. I try and keep my breathing pretty solid throughout.
Regular.
Regular, yeah.
Okay, let's see you go through the whoops and over the tabletop.
Okay. Okay, when there's a rut in whoops, you want to enter as straight as possible and stay as straight as possible throughout. Because if you get out of that rut, it's going to cause problems. Clear the tabletop, try and get back in that rut, keep the weight over the back, and accelerate throughout the section of whoop-de-doo. Sometimes in a race, I'm forced to take the rougher line, so during practice, I always make sure that I practice on the rougher line. Okay, you want to enter straight again, and you want to keep your weight over the back a little more to try and keep the front end light. You don't want the front end dropping in between the whoop-de-doos. And right here, you can see my weight's really over the back. The fender's hitting me in the butt. I'm just keeping the throttle wide open.
One of the most spectacular scenes in Supercross is the jump, the double jump, the triple jump, and the height. We go back to the David Bailey and Ricky Johnson war in Anaheim a few years back. Coming out of that berm, which incidentally you did very fast, you hit a jump you call Kong. Now this is puts you between 3 and 4 stories in the air, and you guys have measured it out 90 feet where you land. First, the mechanic. Jerry, what do you look for with a rider in a jump like this?
Basically, just the landing characteristics of the bike. You know, we want it to soak it up as much as possible without pounding him to death, and that's as far as we can let it take it from there.
We noticed coming out of that berm, you're getting a lot of speed up. I guess you have to have it for that jump.
Yeah, it's 90 feet to the downside, and on a 125, you got to scrub every little mile an hour you can to get out, you know, to make the jump. So you come into the turn back there, you set up, you come in maybe a little slower than you would normally, just so you can make sure you can exit with as much speed as you can. When practicing double jumps, always start off with smaller doubles and work your way up. It takes a lot of practice, and it's very easy to get hurt, so practice. I'm exiting the turn, and I'm trying to get as much speed as possible by getting over the rear tire. And I'm actually sort of pre-jumping here to try and get as much distance as possible. As you see, I come up a little short, and I just use my knees for the extra suspension.
This is a very difficult part of the track, a set of doubles with a tabletop at the end. We'll talk about it in a second. I got to ask you, though, Jeff, how do you get to where you can ride these? What does it take to be able to do this over and over again?
Play riding. I spend at least a half hour every time I go practice. I practice, and then I go play ride. In play riding, you learn a lot about the motorcycle, about jumping. Play riding, you just go, find a couple mounds of dirt, just go over them and make it into a double. I'm going to play around on this double jump with Jay for a while. No matter how small they are, it's always a good idea to practice, you know. Small ones, sometimes you come to a Supercross track and they're only 5 feet apart. And just got to get the timing down. That's why we're out here today, practicing, getting our timing down, getting ready for the Supercross race. Okay, after me and Jay got done doing double jumps for a while, I sort of felt the need to go out and get a little loose and start doing some cross-ups. A lot of times during practice at a Supercross race, I'll feel a little tight and need to do a couple cross-ups to loosen up. Okay, this double jump, as you see, I was doing a cross-up. I'm going over it. I'm not doing a cross-up to show off. I'm doing it to set me up for the landing. And a lot of times, riders on the track, there'll be obstacles where crossing it up is actually faster. A lot of people say, well, he's showing off, but he's just actually getting the bike set up for the next obstacle, the turn, or what have you. And that's why play riding becomes a big part again. Crossing it up while you're play riding, learning how to throw the bike around in the air. It's more than just for, you know, giving the crowd a show. It's the bike sometimes doesn't always act like you want it to, and you'll be sideways in the air, not even meaning to have it that way, and you'll know how to correct it because while practicing during the week, you've had the bike crossed up, and you know how to get it back straight for the landing.
Okay, you come out of a turn, a sharp left-hander, set of doubles, and another double that leads you to the top of this upcoming plateau. How do you ride this one?
This is another difficult double. It's right out of the turn. This is probably the hardest double on the track because it's just right out of the turn. And so setting up is a big key again. And once you make that first set of double, and if you make it clean, the second set, jumping up to this plateau, is pretty easy.
Well, show us how to do it.
Sure, Larry. Okay, I'm coming into your basic Supercross bold turn. Right after the turn, there's the first set of double jumps. It's really close. You got to time it perfect so you can get enough speed to clear up onto the tabletop jump. All right, this is just like a sort of a tabletop at a Supercross. It's really steep takeoff, pretty steep landing. It's a little short, and on here I got a really deep rut built in or dug in from going over it so many times, which practice a little rut riding, getting in the groove, and that's real important because a lot of the Supercrosses start to get grooves in them as the night wears on. And so that's also really important to practice. And just sort of throwing it sideways, landing on the downside. When you go to throw it sideways, you put the pressure on this jump here. I'm throwing it to the right. So I'm putting pressure on the left side of the foot peg, kicking the bike out, and to get it back straight, you apply pressure on the right peg again and apply some throttle so the back wheel spins and it'll get it back in straight for landing. Another thing I practice when I'm out after I get done doing my motos, just cliff climbing, cliff jumping. Cliffs are pretty easy to find these days. A lot of work being done here at the quarry pit. And you just got some vertical walls here. And I always find it fun to just jump up them, do cross-ups up them, fall down them. It doesn't make a difference, just out having fun. And we'll do some cliff climbs right now. Cliff jumping for me is just a way of expressing myself and challenging my skills. For the younger riders out there who aren't so skilled, it's better off to take one step at a time, and maybe a challenge for you is a small double jump. Whatever it is, you shouldn't go out and get over your head because you could get hurt.
On the line are the riders of the final race before the 250cc main event here in Mammoth. Before Jeff made his way to the start of his main event, we asked him what he expected of the final race of the day, and here's what he had to say.
In the final race coming up, I think Doug Dubach and Johnny O'Mara are going to be the toughest ones out there. Johnny rode good on the 500 and the 125, and so did Doug. So they're probably going to be the main competition.
So where do you stand right now going into this final moto?
We don't care our points. I stand just like everyone else. I think the start's going to be real important. It's like a 40-minute race, so there's a lot of time in case you get a bad start, to make up time. So that's good. And the altitude plays a big part. A lot of people get tired real easy because of the altitude. So, you know, I feel I'm in enough shape to go 40 minutes strong.
These are the eyes of Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich as he goes through every aspect of his final race in this mind-boggling race here at Mammoth Mountain. In his mind, before he even leaves the gate, he's already won the race. Jeff's got a lot of things to do, a lot of things to think about. He told me how important it was for him to mentally win a race before he even gets out on the racetrack. Along with watching race videos and mentally picturing his racing techniques in his mind before a race, Jeff is determined to win the race he is about to ride. Jeff's racing career has been one of extremely quick advancement as he moved from the 125cc class to the 250cc class in 2 short years. And that's a progression that normally takes 4 to 5 years. Jeff had an incredible year in 1989, and as you'll see later, he devastated the competition in the 125cc Supercross class. And even though he had some bad luck in the East-West final at the LA Coliseum, he was still able to advance to the 250cc Supercross class in 1990. And what a year he had, finishing 3rd in his first campaign on the Supercross series. Jeff won in Las Vegas, he was very close in Seattle, and he kept the point lead for 12 weeks. For the most part, the techniques that Jeff has been showing you have been demonstrated on the 125cc bike, which Jeff is a specialist on. But before we actually start the final 250cc race in Mammoth, we'd like to show you just how talented the Chicken is on a 90-foot jump in a rock quarry in Corona. You're not going to believe this. And once again, Jeff is a professional motocross racer. Don't even attempt this at home. You're going to hear Jeff explain to you exactly what he's going to do. 90 feet of airtime from Jeff, the Chicken Matiasevich.
Okay, I'm on a 250 right now. A lot of times I'll bring both bikes out in order to ride both of them, and it teaches you a lot. The 125, you ride a little bit different than the 250, and since I'm currently racing the 250 Supercross class, I thought I'd end the day on a 250 just to keep the body adjusted to the power, to how it handles, the feeling of it, because I'm leaving for a race. But right now we're going to do a little jump that you can't make on a 125 because it just doesn't have the power. A lot of times the 125 hinders you from doing some jumps that you could do on a 250. It doesn't matter what size bike you're on, 80, 125, or 250. The Supercross techniques for the jumps, whoops, turns, it's all the same for all bikes. I hope you learned a lot from this, and I'll see you at the races, hopefully behind me.
Here we are back at the 250cc final at Mammoth Mountain, and you're looking at the man right now who's out in front in the overall points for the expert class, number 9, Johnny O'Mara. Johnny riding on the Kawasaki with teammate Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich. Denny Stevenson close by his side, making sure that everything goes on just according to plan. As you can see, Chicken thinking about the race at hand, checking out every part of his motorcycle to make sure it's running properly. Remember, there's $5,000 on the line for this moto. There you see Talon Volan right next to Jeff Matiasevich and the early leader Ryan Hughes, number 71, who gave Matiasevich trouble and took the win in the second qualifier. O'Mara won the first qualifier, number 9, so we've got 4 Kawasaki's capable of winning here this afternoon. The clock is set. We are ready to go. And out in front, it looks like Chicken had the advantage out of the gate. Here we are around the tree turn. It is Johnny O'Mara who is out in front. Jeff Matiasevich running in spot number 2, number 92. And in the third spot, it is rockin' Ryan Hughes, number 71, the Lightning rookie from Escondido, California. Hughes now goes by Matiasevich. That's the second time today, but the Chicken gets him back in the mechanics turn. as they go down the downhill. It is still Johnny O'Mara who is your leader on the Answer back Kawasaki. Right behind him on the JT back Cowie is Ryan Hughes. And of course, the Chicken sits in the third spot. Johnny O'Mara leading the race right now, and the rookie in between Matiasevich and O'Mara. Hughes now taking away a tear-off as it's pretty murky down here at the Mammoth Mountain Motocross. They keep it very, very wet here at Mammoth. Dust is no problem, but mud is. We'll see him coming over the finish line jump right now. After the backside of the freeway, it is now Ryan Hughes, the rookie who was in the lead. Matiasevich running in spot number 2. There's Talon Volan on the Kawasaki running in spot number 3. Here we see him coming down the downhill once again. And here's a good shot of Chicken being hotly pursued by Talon Volan, the Yoko back rider on the Kawasaki. Here, this is the roughest part of the Mammoth Mountain Motocross track right here. The Mammoth downhill. O'Mara has gone back into the 5th spot. Steve Lampson making an appearance in there. But here's Jeff Chicken Matiasevich. He's chasing the youngster Ryan Hughes, number 71, out of Escondido, California on the Team Green Kawasaki. Hughes is a Team Green rider. Matiasevich is a factory team rider. Kawasaki's running 1 and 2 right now. O'Mara fell and lost his lead early, but Matiasevich right now is trying to take the lead away from the kid who beat him in the first qualifier, Ryan Hughes. Matiasevich has everything well in hand as he's sitting in a comfortable 2nd spot. Remember, we're going 35 minutes plus 1 lap here at Mammoth Mountain. The altitude plays a big part in it. So does the physical conditioning. And Matiasevich, one of the strongest riders on the racetrack. But he's got a young, aggressive pro in front of him, number 71, Ryan Hughes. Now here Matiasevich has finally gotten around him. He is your new leader. Hughes went down earlier, got back up, and is still riding in spot number 2. Volan is in the 3rd spot. Here's the Foxback rider on Dunlop tires, Jeff the Chicken Matiasevich out in front. Take a look at Jeff's form, riding the outdoor track to its full potential. The KX250 working very well here this afternoon. And all Chicken sees is $5,000. Here they are at the Mammoth Mountain Freeway as they come into one of the tougher sections of the racetrack. The corners are very tight, and it is getting real rough right now for Matiasevich as he's still holding on with just a few to go here at Mammoth Mountain. Jeff Matiasevich on his Foxback Kawasaki is out in front. And once again, Fox did a great job with their post-modern racewear with Jeff Matiasevich in 1990. Matiasevich is your leader right now on the Kawasaki. And here's a shot of Johnny O'Mara. O'Mara is sitting in a great spot to win an extra $5,000 this afternoon as the top point earner for the entire weekend. The checkered flag about to come out here at Mammoth Mountain. The battle goes to Jeff Matiasevich as he takes the win on the Kawasaki. Riders crossing the line. We're going to see if Johnny O'Mara can hold on to his position to become the $5,000 bonus man, and he is. Johnny O'Mara is the top point earner in all 3 classes here at Mammoth Mountain. He's just won an extra $5,000. Here's Jeff Matiasevich signing autographs for a whole bunch of fans that were in the pits to see their greatest rider and their hero of the day take the win. The overall winner for the day was Johnny O'Mara with the help of the Boys in Rad Valve. Johnny took home the $5,000 prize money. Matiasevich won the event with a brilliant riding performance. So long from Mammoth Mountain, I'm Larry Naston, hoping you enjoyed some great racing here at the mountain.
The shadows are getting long here at the Kawasaki test track. It's been a long day. Jeff, I think we've learned a lot about how to ride, and I wondered if you had any final words for our viewers.
No, I just hope everyone who watched this tape learns a lot from it. And always remember, as far as double jumping go or anything goes, always start off small and work your way up. It only takes a little while. It doesn't take that long, and that's why it's going to be a lot more safer. And you can't go have fun when you're hurt, so
That's for sure.
You know, stay healthy.
Okay. So for the Matazattack I'm No Chicken video, on behalf of our crew, I'm Larry Huffman. If you'd like to write us, our address is on the back of the tape box. This has been a Moto Video Home Entertainment Special. Thanks for joining us.